Hey there, Gears of War fans, this is Westashron. Today we're going to be taking a look at NECA's Gears of War Judgment Damon Baird action figure. This figure just started hitting stores, and I found this at my local TRU for $12.99, which is awesome. It's pretty much just listed as the same as the regular Gears of War figures, which have, I guess, dropped in price over time. So it's not the regular standard, like $15 to $20 of the other NECA figures, which is great. So they may be planning on fixing that, so you may want to go out and grab this guy soon if you can. Standard clamshell packaging for NECA. Gears of War Judgment, shot of the character in the bottom there in the background. It looks like an explosion in a city. Side, more Baird, and he's wearing some handcuffs, so part of the story, I believe, I haven't played the game yet, I'm waiting for it to come down in price. Part of the story, I think, is that he is going to jail for, like, crimes in war, I guess similar to what happened to Marcus in the original game, and you play through to find out why he's really there. So, in fact, there's a little bit about the game back here. So if anybody wants to check that out, they can. Just a shot of the figure. Coming soon. It's got the 3 3/4 listings, which I'm not planning right now at getting. So, but we'll take a look at the bottom real quick for some credits, and then we'll get this guy open. Sculpt, Neo Bauhaus Studios. Huh. That's a new one for me. I haven't seen that one before. Paint, Jeff Wardell and Jeffrey Trapp. John Wardell and Jeffrey Trapp, sorry. And, of course, the man in charge, Randy Falk. Awesome. So, yeah, standard fare. Let's get this guy open and see what he's like. Here we have Baird out of package. And check it out. He can actually hold his rifle with 2 hands. Look at that. That is awesome. I am very excited to see that. That was my biggest complaint with the Gears of War 3 figures. I was very excited when those molds came out. Very, very thrilled. And then the articulation just didn't really live up to all the new plans they had for it, which was a huge bummer. But first of all, let us take a look at the Retro Lancer, which I assume it's still called the Retro Lancer. It may just be called the Lancer in the game. I don't know, since it is already set in the past. Very cool. Nice paint job. It may be hard to tell, but this is like a darker black up here, and this here is a brown leather. They are pretty similar in shade, so on camera you may not be able to tell the difference. That same paint comes over here on the grip, and there is a lot of nice weathering. This is a bit of a flexible plastic, so it's not super flexible. I mean, it's thick through here, so you wouldn't be able to tell, but like you can feel it a lot on the grip and on the knife down here, or the bayonet, if you want to call it that. But yeah, very nice piece. Interesting thing, I've got my other Baird here, and I've got his rifle, his Lancer. Exact same mold from what I can see. Everything looks identical. The interesting part is that the new Lancer is actually just a little bit smaller. So if you put these 2 points together, you'll see that the blade hangs much longer, and the stock of the gun back up here goes much longer than the new Lancer. So that may just be because the new design for the characters is much smaller. They're not as bulky and stuff. I'm not sure, or maybe it's just a mistake, but I do think it's interesting that it's smaller considering the issues with the recent Dutch release with smaller weapons. So, I don't know, but it may have just been to save plastic since you couldn't notice the difference, or maybe the original was just too big in the first place. We will find out. Well, we may never find out, but who knows. Sorry, I was putting my gun back on Baird's back. We'll look at the other Baird in a minute. So, but onto this guy. Very nice likeness. I had to look through a few of them, put his legs back a little bit, to really get a head sculpt paint job that I liked. It was mostly attributing to the beard. The 5 o'clock shadow had sort of mixed results on there, but I think the version I got is very nice. Pretty decent paint work on the whole thing. I love the work they did on the hair. Very nice. It looks like it was, like really cut very short. There's a lot of detail there. Very nice. Great paint details all the way throughout. The metallic blue looks great. It really kind of helps to sell the idea that he's like a new young soldier. Love the cog details here on the shoulders. I don't know insignias very well, so I don't know what rank that is, but it's there. So very cool. More cog details here on the belt. We've got 3 screwdrivers down here. 2 of the screwdrivers are flatheads that are, apparently, they look at least the same mold as the one from Gears of War 3. And then we've got a new, longer screwdriver here in the middle. And it is also a flathead, so apparently he has a lot of flathead work to do. Or maybe all Lancers use flatheads, I have no idea, but yeah, so that's that. Can't really hold him very well. I mean, kind of well. Let's see if I can... Yeah, you can kind of hold it. That's good. Yeah, not bad. So if he has to screw drive like that, I guess you don't really have a hand to screw drive, because screw driving is kind of weird anyway. You kind of turn it like that. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, stupid details there that don't need to be said. Nice leather work, lots of leather stitching there. Great pock marking on the pants here to sort of just sell the texture of it. More of that great blue down here in the bottom, a little weathered to show that he has been in battle, just not as much as he is by it 3. And the back looks great. He's got nice pouches here. Little pouches on the back of his armor. Just very nice overall. They did a great job on the sculpt, as they generally do. The paintwork on top, where the lights are, is pretty sloppy. It's the only part that I would really notice that there is slop because of, you know, kind of like crusty nature of the designs for Gears of War, but these are always supposed to be pretty clean, bright blue, and they are very, very sloppy. So, not a huge deal breaker or anything, but if you are one who's really keen on your paint jobs, it may be something you want to look for. Oh, and there's also very tiny tampos, if I can even get close enough for you to see that, on his, yeah, you see on his collar there? There's a tampo on both sides. I don't know what they are, but they look great. So, articulation-wise, this guy does have a little bit of improvement. Got a great ball-jointed head for one. So, nice tilt action there. Down about that far. Up about that far. So you can look up a little bit. Not too bad. Swivel hinge shoulders. They go all the way around, of course. They will be hindered a little bit by this, but it is a soft rubber, so it's not going to be too bad. We have the lateral pivot joints, just like the Gears of War figures, 3 figures, so they can go forward and back. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. I'm asking rhetorical questions to a camera, so yeah, I may have lost it at this point. Exams are almost over, I promise. Nice bit of leather in there, great detailing, but it does allow the shoulders to be brought in for better gun posing, which is great. Great news is that the swivel hinge joint is not covered. There's a little bit of overlap here with the armor piece, but it does mean that you get full rotation on your swivel biceps, which is fantastic, because that's what killed the articulation in the last ones. They couldn't even hold their guns with 2 hands because of that, but they've totally made a solution for that, so that's great. Double hinged elbows again, although this time I do think they work much better. First point will get you about to there. Second point will get you up to there. So instead of just 90 degrees or a little shy, he actually has a lot of movement, I guess owing to the fact that they don't have huge biceps. But yeah, very, very nice range there. So gun hand will be able to get, in addition to the lats here, we'll be able to get a very nice rifle pose, as you can see there. So very, very cool. Very thrilled about that. We have the same hinge belly here. So this here is a harder plastic than we have up here. So it is going to hinder it a little bit, but you can get a little forward and a little back there. Swivel waist, just like the old ones. There's nothing really to block that. We've got the H-style DCUC hips. Mine are a little bit loose, as you can see there. But they're not, they hadn't had any problems holding a pose yet, so that's good. But they do go out to about that far on the right leg. Left leg is blocked because of the screwdrivers and the skirt here. But pretty decent range there. Forward and back is... Oh, all of a sudden that's stuck. Okay. Well, forward and back goes about that far. No butt pack to be a problem going back, so that's good. Swivels on the tops of the thighs here. We've got swivel hinges in the knees, and the swivels are on the bottom here, so you can see they've cut out some space up in here for the boot to go, but it's still not very much. The boots are too bulky for them to work, well without NECA like cutting into the sculpt of the boot. So still a big bummer there. Still don't have the knee motion that you'd really need for a soldier, especially soldiers who are spending a lot of time running and ducking behind cover. Mostly they're just going to be able to stand there. So that's a pretty big bummer for me still. But we do have this swivel rotation here, which is kind of neat, I guess. I don't really need that point, but it's there for folks who want it. We've got swivels in the feet, and then we have hinges in the feet. You can see there's a big ball hinge in there. Well, you may not be able to see it. There you go. So you can move pretty well there. And we do have rockers. They don't work great, but they do offer a little bit of motion there. So that's nice. And then we have the hinge toes, which move very freely compared to the last gear's figures, which were much tighter. So pretty nice articulation overall. I'm not sure why this hip is stuck. I thought I had that moving, but I must not have moved it. So my bad there. So let's get this guy over here, and we will get out Gears of War 3 Baird. You can see here, hopefully that's pretty obvious how much bigger this figure is. I mean, he's absolutely enormous compared to Judgment Baird. Much thicker chest from front to back, much wider if you see a Baird in front of Baird. It may be difficult to see, but basically Gears of War 3 Baird is much larger. Which makes sense because they all got kind of huge muscle-bound upgrades for the last game. But yeah, very similar like in basic design in terms of how the armor is all set up and everything. Of course, this is back even pre-Gears 1, so he's got a much more complete uniform, no torn-off sleeves or anything. A lot of people didn't like the more modern look where they were losing bits of armor and stuff over time, so this may be a better solution for you. Great looking Baird figure, honestly, just fantastic. I don't have the very first Baird figure, I apologize, but that one was kind of before my time and not articulated enough, so these are the only two I have to compare. But face-wise, I could see some very nice similarities between them, especially in the nose and eyes. Get these a little closer without knocking them over. So you can see pretty good. This one's definitely a lot older and surlier, so they did a good job with that, I think. As I said, I got this figure for $12.99. For $12.99, it's an absolute steal, even with the slightly loose joints in the legs, and I'll still have to work on that hip. But yeah, great deal. You get 3 kind of little small accessories that you don't really need, and 1 great accessory that you do need, and it does peg into his back, the classic peg hole system. So if you want to pose him with a screwdriver instead of his Lancer, you can. Very cool action figure. $12.99 at Toys R Us. Get him now before the price goes up. I highly recommend him. It's just very cool. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for all the new subscribers, guys. I really appreciate it. Contest results, I promise, are still coming. I just haven't had time to get around to it yet. It's been really rough at the end of the semester, so almost done, and we'll get to the winners very soon. So thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you later, guys. Bye.